So in 1862, the United States was in the middle of the Civil War. And during that time, Congress was still in action. Of course, it was controlled by Republicans at that time. And they passed something called the Homestead Act, which was signed into law by Abraham Lincoln. What the Homestead Act was an attempt by the U.S. government to help Americans to settle the West. And what they did with the Homestead Act was flat give away 160 acres of free land to anybody who would be willing to farm it or ranch it for at least 5 years. Now, there was a German immigrant family by the name of the Holzworths who took advantage of the Homestead Act. But whenever I say they got 160 acres of free land, they flat drew the golden ticket, because this place is amazing. So here's a stream running through the old Holzworth Homestead, except for most people would know this stream better by the Colorado River. How crazy is it that this little stream right here eventually cuts and makes the Grand Canyon? Pretty amazing. Alright, so here's a panoramic shot of the Holzworth Trout Lodge. So people would drive their Model Ts and wagons and come up here to spend some time in the Rockies, trout fishing, spending time on a dude ranch. So we're going to go ahead and take a little closer look at some of these old rustic cabins. So here's one of the lodges here, and this is the most recent one from 1944. Okay, here's a tent house, which as you can see is kind of primitive. So they could put up a bunch of these on the site, and yeah, there you go. Have a little table with a wash basin, a bed, and a stove. Everything that you would ever need. It's pretty cool. Okay, so here's a pretty interesting structure. This is an ice house that has been insulated, has a grass roof. During the wintertime, whenever the lake would freeze over, they would take a team of horses down, cut out 125-pound blocks, and bring it back here. And this would be their refrigerator. So I'm going to see here. Open this up, and yeah, that's cool air coming out of there. Wow. Okay, so my daughter is going to demonstrate how we wash clothes in 1906 on the Holzworth Ranch. Okay, you got to put it through the wringer.
Mama, you have to film this one.
And there we go. Good job. I think you're
you do wash at home, right?
You're halfway qualified. All right, so this is the original main cabin that they call the Mama Cabin, and unfortunately there's some maintenance issues, so we can't go inside. But this one right here is the original structure, and then they added on a dining room and then also a kitchen. So this would have been some of the original Holzworth structures here. So the Holzworths originally tried to make a go of it, of cattle ranching out here in the valley. That didn't work out so well, so they ended up converting it to a guest ranch where people would come out and trout fish or hike or just vacation or do whatever. Ended up having a very successful business doing that. So here's the main lodge, the original structure behind me, and then some guest lodges, Olivia, another lodge there. We'll take a look at a few of these places. Okay, so this is entering one of the guest cabins. A little bit dark in here. Let's see if I can bump that up a little bit. So you got a little heating stove, just some odds and ends, and bedroom. Heck, I would live here. Wow, oh wow. Take a look at the view coming out the front porch. Okay, so that was the Holzworth Homestead. Very interesting place. Kind of neat to see how life was. Just a little glimpse anyway, during the late 1800s, early 1900s. Now the Homestead Act was not without its controversy. Throughout the 1850s, Republicans kept trying to get it pushed through, and Democrats from the slave-holding South were vehemently against it because rightfully they were worried that it would shift power to the western states, which were free states, as more people moved out west. In the election of 1860, where Abraham Lincoln was running, the Republicans made homesteading one of their key platforms, wanting to make free land available for small farmers, for freed slaves, for African Americans, for anybody who was an American citizen. So, eventually, of course, as I mentioned earlier, it got passed in 1862 by Congress and then was signed into law by Abraham Lincoln, and did a lot of good things for a lot of people. Kind of neat to see one of these places though. Right here in arguably one of the most beautiful spots in the United States. Rocky Mountain National Park. Learned a lot today, and wasn't going to stop here, but I'm glad that we did. But now we are on to the next stop. I'm going to go ahead and say that the bathroom is out of order.